Hey everyone, welcome. On this channel, we're going to get into an advanced look at the story Disastrous Necromancer. Come with me as we unravel the journey of Lin Moyu, from his beginnings to him becoming a force to be reckoned with in a mysterious new world. If this story sounds like something you'll enjoy, please like, share, and comment. Your support helps us keep providing these in-depth looks into the world of Disastrous Necromancer. Now let's continue.
The human race's god Venerable laughed heartily. Well done. Junior brother Lin's combat power is truly admirable. He praised Lin Moyu without any reservation. After entangling with the silver heron god Venerable for a long time, he didn't expect that with Lin Moyu's help, the opponent would be dealt with in just a few moves. Lin Moyu's spells were indeed extremely powerful. The 5 skeleton kings, each 10,000 meters tall, could directly severely injure the opponent. Lin Moyu said, "Thank you, senior brother. Go support the others." "All right, junior brother Lin, be careful," he responded readily and then flew towards the nearest battlefield. In the skeleton hell, the hell fiends were still devouring the silver heron god Venerable. The power of a peak god Venerable was not to be underestimated. The hell fiends were not yet strong enough, and devouring it would take some time. However, Lin Moyu could already feel that the hell fiends were rapidly growing stronger. Devouring a peak god Venerable was far more effective than devouring hundreds of lower-level god Venerables. The qualitative difference was hard to make up for with quantity. His gaze searched the starry sky, looking at various battlefields, seeking the next target. With the Eye of the Soul activated, Lin Moyu could clearly see the fluctuations of power on each battlefield. It didn't take long for Lin Moyu to lock onto his next target. The human race's god Venerables were strong, but the 3 Silver Clan also had powerful god Venerables. Especially since these 3 Silver Clan members were actually all soul-devouring clan members. After 10,000 years of dormancy, the soul-devouring clan had infiltrated all races, from saints to super gods. Many secret techniques and spells of various races had also been leaked. In several battlefields, the human race's god Venerables were not gaining the upper hand and were even being suppressed. Lin Moyu's targets were these god Venerables who were at a disadvantage. A few minutes later, the hell fiends finished devouring the silver heron god Venerable, leaving only a few feathers. Lin Moyu had deliberately left these feathers to use as materials for corpse explosion. Even in death, a peak god Venerable was still utilized by Lin Moyu, which was a kind of sorrow. Lin Moyu took a step, activating the space law, and followed the spatial currents, appearing a million miles away, right in the middle of a battlefield. 2 god Venerables were in a fierce battle, and the 3 Silver Clan god Venerable looked down on Lin Moyu. A first-level god Venerable was someone he could easily kill and wouldn't affect the battle. The human race's god Venerable, however, showed a flash of joy in his eyes. He knew part of Lin Moyu's background and understood that Lin Moyu's combat power was actually very strong. Lin Moyu instantly entered the battlefield, pointed his finger, and the skeleton hell activated, enveloping the entire battlefield. The hell fiends surged out madly, pouncing on the 3 Silver Clan god Venerable. Section 2203 23,692,204. Having tested all his spells, Lin Moyu chose a simpler and quicker way to fight. The 3 Silver Clan god Venerable instinctively counterattacked, allowing Lin Moyu to successfully mark him. Then, the few feathers in his hand turned to ash. White star level spell, corpse explosion. With a loud bang, the 3 Silver Clan god Venerable, who was in the midst of battle, let out a miserable scream, blood spraying out, and his body was almost blown apart. Still not dead, truly strong. He had withstood an explosion equivalent to a self-destruct from a god Venerable of the same realm, only severely injured but not killed, proving his strength. But that didn't matter. If one explosion didn't kill him, then 2 would. Or he could let the Skeleton King finish him off. There were many ways to kill him. The 3 Silver Clan god Venerable was extremely terrified. One moment he had the upper hand, the next he was on the brink of death. He quickly took out a silver token, which activated instantly, forming a giant silver dog. This giant silver dog had 2 heads, one spewing red flames and the other blue frost, both looking extremely ferocious. The human race's god Venerable urgently warned, "Be careful, this is the Ice and Fire 2-headed dog, once a saint of the Silver Dog Clan." Lin Moyu understood that the token should contain the power of a saint. However, the Ice and Fire 2-headed dog had fallen tens of thousands of years ago, and the token likely only contained its will, not its soul. Without a soul, it could at most reach the other shore realm and wouldn't last long. Lin Moyu remained calm. "Senior, please retreat. Leave this to me." As he spoke, he took out a skeleton. It was also the skeleton of a peak god venerable, one of Lin Moyu's previous stocks. He had several such stocks. Although he had many ways to kill the opponent, using corpse explosion was simpler. Before the opponent could react, the skeleton turned to ash. With a loud bang, the peak god venerable of the Three Silver clan was completely blown to pieces. The hell fiends pounced out, devouring him. The ice and fire two-headed dog had formed, seemingly inheriting the will of the deceased, and locked its gaze on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu chuckled and released the undying flames. 5 skeleton kings appeared in response, standing in front of him. Immediately, countless skeleton generals flew out, fighting alongside the skeleton kings. To deal with the power left by a saint, there was no need for a direct confrontation, just consuming its power would suffice. After sending out the skeleton kings and tens of millions of skeleton generals, Lin Moyu no longer paid attention to it. If it wanted to kill him, it would have to break through the undead army first. The ice and fire two-headed dog was surrounded by the undead army. It fought madly to break through but could never succeed against the skeleton kings. Golden light flickered in the starry sky, and the golden armor talisman provided the undead army with astonishing defense, turning the entire army into an indestructible shield. If a true other shore realm being arrived, it might break through. But now, it was just a remnant of a saint's power, impossible to break through. Senior brother, go support elsewhere, Lin Moyu said loudly to the human race's god venerable who had just recovered. The god venerable was stunned for a moment, then nodded, all right. He turned and flew towards the nearest battlefield. Suddenly, Lin Moyu's expression changed, and he shouted, come back. As he spoke, Lin Moyu took a step forward, instantly catching up, with a golden sword appearing in his hand. Boom! Golden light exploded, and the golden sword formed a golden shield, protecting both of them. In front of the golden sword, a giant snake appeared. The giant snake shimmered with silver light, with countless purple spots within the silver light. At first glance, it looked like a member of the Three Silver clan, but it wasn't. This was a starry sky beast, an other shore realm starry sky beast. The god venerable explained in a low voice, this is a starry sky beast raised by the silver snake lineage of the Three Silver clan, the purple light silver snake. However, there aren't many purple light silver snakes, and even fewer have reached the other shore realm. Lin Moyu didn't delve into the root of the problem, it was meaningless. The current situation was that he had to face an other shore realm starry sky beast. The purple light silver snake spat out a purple beam, hitting the golden shield. The golden shield roared continuously, and Lin Moyu and the god venerable were pushed back. Lin Moyu said in a low voice, senior brother, you go first. I'll handle this thing. The god venerable looked at Lin Moyu with a complex expression, junior brother Lin, you should go first. I'll hold it off. Lin Moyu chuckled, what I mean is, I want to try killing it. Huh? He knew Lin Moyu was very strong, capable of fighting peak god venerables as a first-level god venerable. But saying he could kill an other shore realm being seemed a bit unbelievable. Lin Moyu continued to explain, I have treasures given by the saints. Even if I can't kill it, I can protect myself. Senior brother, go support elsewhere, don't worry about me. Shu Xinyu, a god venerable of the Shu family. He heeded Lin Moyu's words and went to support elsewhere. Lin Moyu looked at the purple light silver snake, now, let's have some fun. I wonder if the hell fiends will become stronger after eating you. Lin Moyu didn't take the purple light silver snake seriously, he had killed other shore realm beings before. Not counting injured other shore realm beings like the Abyss Dragon Demon, even the future Buddha, who had fallen from Saint Venerable to other shore realm, was still a bit stronger than ordinary other shore realm beings. Moreover, even if he really couldn't win, Lin Moyu still had trump cards. That severed finger of the past Buddha was enough to blow the purple light silver snake to death. Lin Moyu had been in an undefeatable position from the start, so what was there to fear? He even had a kind of lofty, looking down upon the opponent aura. Now Lin Moyu's only thought was how to kill this purple light silver snake without paying a big price. The purple light silver snake's attacks were blocked by the golden sword several times, making it somewhat angry and also puzzled. Why wasn't this weak creature in front of it afraid at all, and instead was looking at it like this, as if treating it as prey? It was unbearable. The purple light silver snake's entire body bristled, the purple light intensified, and its huge snake tail lashed out like lightning. Boom! The enormous force sent Lin Moyu flying, and the golden shield seemed to have reached its limit, showing many cracks. Lin Moyu took out the ancient talisman jade piece, and at the same time, 5 drops of myriad color water flew out. After 7 years, the previously consumed myriad color water had recovered by more than half. With the ancestral water ancient well in hand, Lin Moyu didn't hesitate to use the myriad color water at all. 100,000 units of faith power burned, infusing into the ancient talisman jade piece along with the myriad color water. Soul power poured in like a surging river, activating the ancient talisman jade piece. A huge fist appeared in the void. With the double enhancement of myriad color water and faith power, the ancient talisman fist successfully reached the other shore realm. The ancient talisman fist flew out, firmly locking onto the purple light silver snake, generating a huge suction force, dragging the purple light silver snake so it couldn't escape. The purple light silver snake spat out purple light onto the giant fist, making it tremble violently, but the fist's momentum remained unchanged. A river of law stars appeared under Lin Moyu's feet, gray and white intertwined, half death and half life. Other people's law star rivers were above their heads, and for other shore realm beings, they were around their bodies. But Lin Moyu's was under his feet. It was as if he was a level above the law star river, stepping on it beneath his feet. At this moment, Lin Moyu's whole body exuded a noble aura. He seemed to have become the master of the law star river, no longer just mobilizing the power of the law star river, but commanding it. Mobilizing the law star river was more like borrowing. While commanding was dispatching, it was directing. The two had completely different meanings. Just this point alone put Lin Moyu above all god venerables. Even in ancient times, beings like Lin Moyu were rare. The moment the law star river appeared, the purple light silver snake swung its tail, colliding with the ancient talisman fist. The starry sky shook violently, space suddenly shattered, and the ancient talisman fist collapsed on the spot. The purple light silver snake didn't fare well either. It was beaten badly, its huge tail hanging limply, with a massive wound from which blood was continuously gushing out. Lin Moyu's mind stirred, and 99% of the Law Star River turned gray, pouring down. The power of death spread through the starry sky, polluting the purple light silver snake's wound, making it difficult to heal. Then, a large amount of death power from the Law Star River spread towards the purple light silver snake's body. The purple light silver snake screamed incessantly, its whole body's rule power surging, purple light intensifying, trying to expel the invading death power. Lin Moyu wouldn't give it a chance. He took out the corpse of the Cliff Peak God Venerable, and not just one, but 5. If we're going to blow it up, let's do it thoroughly. His finger lightly tapped, and red light spread. The time curse activated. Although the purple light silver snake was at the other shore realm, it was still somewhat affected. Its defense decreased, and the damage it received increased. A peculiar aura emanated from Lin Moyu's body. Origin spell, Strengthen Troops. With Strengthen Troops activated, the damage caused by him and all members of the undead army instantly increased tenfold. At this moment, the undead army fighting in the 3 Silver Clans territory had their destructive power greatly increased. 25 drops of myriad color water flew out, and another 100,000 units of faith power burned fiercely. The myriad color water and faith power were divided into 5 parts, each acting on one of the 5 corpses. White star level spell, Corpse Explosion. Lin Moyu's finger tapped 5 times in succession, and the 5 corpses turned to ash simultaneously. The violent explosion nearly blasted even the deep space open, with spatial turbulence howling through the starry sky. Lin Moyu was pushed back tens of thousands of miles by the explosion's aftermath, his purple golden body erupting to block the attack. The aftermath's force was too strong. If it were Shu Xinyu or another peak god venerable, they might have suffered some minor injuries. From the shattered starry sky came the purple light silver snake's miserable screams, extremely agonizing. 5 consecutive explosions, each like a full force attack from an other shore realm powerhouse, were terrifyingly powerful. After more than 10 seconds, the explosion's energy finally weakened, and the chaotic starry sky gradually recovered. There was no trace of the purple light silver snake in the starry sky, only a severed tail about 10 meters long left behind. It fled. Lin Moyu came to the severed tail, feeling somewhat regretful. The opponent had actually fled. A mighty other shore realm starry sky beast had actually fled so shamelessly. At this moment, the interception battle on the Skeleton King's side was also coming to an end. The power of the ice and fire 2-headed dog was getting weaker and weaker. Finally, its 2 heads collided, and under the clash of ice and fire, a violent explosion occurred. The ice and fire 2-headed dog dissipated. The explosion was quite powerful, killing hundreds of thousands of skeleton generals. However, in the next second, hundreds of thousands of skeleton generals collectively revived. With Undying Undead, and the new golden armor talisman, the skeleton generals had become very difficult to kill. Lin Moyu summoned the skeleton hell, letting the fiends devour the purple light silver snake's severed tail. After all, it was the severed tail of an Othershore realm being, a great supplement for the Hell Fiends. The purple light silver snake hadn't died, so Lin Moyu couldn't use its severed tail for corpse explosion. Since it was useless to him, he might as well give it to the Hell Fiends. Lin Moyu continued to look for his next target. In the great battle between Hao Saint Venerable and Howling Sky Saint Venerable, Hao Saint Venerable had the upper hand. Although the Void Rule wasn't good at killing, its ability to trap and lock down the enemy was unparalleled. Hao Saint Venerable trapped the opponent in the void, slowly torturing him. Howling Sky Saint Venerable's strength wasn't considered strong among Saint Venerables, quite far from Hao Saint Venerable's level. His defeat and death were just a matter of time. On the other side, Celestial Saint Venerable's battle was going very smoothly. He found the Star Snake Saint Venerable, and after a great battle, Celestial Saint Venerable firmly held the upper hand. The Star Snake Saint Venerable was beaten miserably and roared in anger, "You first destroyed the Buddha clan, and now you're destroying our 3 Silver clan. Aren't you afraid of other races joining forces to retaliate?" Celestial Saint Venerable sneered, "They can't even handle the soul-devouring clan issue. Where would they find the time to care about your life or death?" The Star Snake Saint Venerable still couldn't accept it. "If it weren't for that Howling Sky being possessed by the soul-devouring clan, our clan wouldn't be in this state." Celestial Saint Venerable said, "Don't worry, that old dog is being taken care of. You'll meet him in the underworld soon." Golden light rippled through the starry river, and Celestial Saint Venerable swung his treasure sword, cutting the starry river into countless pieces. Lin Moyu had completely become a free agent, supporting everywhere. Wherever he went, the 3 Silver Clan's God Venerables would quickly fall. Using peak God Venerables as nourishment, such a thing could probably only be done by Lin Moyu. In just over a day, the fiends in the Skeleton Hell had significantly strengthened. Their combat power had increased from the 5th level of God Venerable to the 6th level of God Venerable. Not only had their combat power increased, but their numbers had also grown. Even Lin Moyu, the master of the Skeleton Hell, wasn't entirely sure how many fiends there were. The main reason was that the Skeleton Hell hadn't fully formed. Whether it was the Hellfire River or the Hell Fiends, they were still in a nascent state. After recent usage, Lin Moyu could roughly estimate that there were about 1 million fiends in the Skeleton Hell. This number wasn't much, pitifully small compared to the undead army. However, Lin Moyu felt that the Skeleton Hell had great potential for growth. As it continued to devour enemies, it would become increasingly powerful. Even if his own realm didn't improve, it would continue to grow stronger. Currently, its upper limit was still unseen. On the other hand, the undead army found it difficult to grow stronger without an increase in his realm. So, which was stronger between the two was still hard to say. Lin Moyu always believed that there were no useless spells in the world. The key was how you used them. He walked step by step towards the depths of the battlefield, following the spatial fluctuations. Each step covered 1,000,000 miles, far surpassing the speed of a God Venerable. Even an Othershore realm being might not be able to surpass Lin Moyu's speed without the aid of treasures. Lin Moyu had only grasped the basics of the space law and was still far from truly mastering it. Even so, the benefits of the space law were already evident. In the current situation where space was sealed, all teleportation tools had lost their function, but Lin Moyu could still use the space law to move rapidly. Intense battle wars came from ahead. Lin Moyu sensed the star river shattering, and space had turned into a mess of mud. The surrounding stars had long been shattered into nothingness. This was the battlefield of the Saint Venerables. Lin Moyu had seen Saint Venerables in action before. But that time was in the dark void, where the special environment made some situations unclear. This time, Lin Moyu saw it clearly. Layer upon layer of space was shattered. Hao Saint Venerable and Howling Sky Saint Venerable had already fought into the deep space. In the deep space, colorful chaotic flows danced. These energy flows were extremely terrifying but posed no harm to the Saint Venerables. Hao Saint Venerable was enveloped in the void realm, like a black hole, constantly devouring all external forces, forming a strong defense. At the same time, the void realm also became his weapon, firmly suppressing Howling Sky Saint Venerable. Howling Sky Saint Venerable roared continuously, his silver fur flying in the starry sky, each strand of silver fur a terrifying treasure. But no matter how he struggled, it was to no avail. Hao Saint Venerable, with absolute strength, beat him into submission. Being able to hold on for so long was already commendable. Lin Moyu watched from afar. One of his purposes for coming was to observe the battle of the Saint Venerables. Observing the battles of the Saint Venerables was beneficial for him. It would help him familiarize himself with the rules more quickly and prepare for the future. It seems Howling Sky Saint Venerable hasn't used his rule world yet. This also means he hasn't reached his limit. How Saint Venerable had said before that the rule world was the last trump card of a Saint Venerable. As long as the rule world wasn't used, it meant the Saint Venerable hadn't reached his true limit. Only when the rule world appeared did it mean he was desperate. Lin Moyu's arrival was naturally noticed by both How Saint Venerable and Howling Sky Saint Venerable, but neither paid him any mind due to their intense battle. Howling Sky Saint Venerable was too busy to care, and How Saint Venerable had no time to spare. After all, they were both Saint Venerables. Even if Howling Sky Saint Venerable was slightly weaker, it was only by a small margin. How Saint Venerable had to give his all to suppress him. At the same time, he had to prevent Howling Sky Saint Venerable from escaping. Once a Saint Venerable decided to flee, it was very hard to chase them down. Suddenly, a peculiar aura rose, and Lin Moyu saw a silver flame. Rule World. Lin Moyu's heart trembled. Howling Sky Saint Venerable's rule world had appeared. His rule world was a world of silver flames, looking like a star. The silver flames seemed to have no temperature but were actually extremely terrifying. The moment it appeared, the entire space trembled. The chaotic flows in the deep space were annihilated upon contact with it. How Saint Venerable also strengthened his Void Realm, retreating slightly. At the same time, he reinforced the Void Realm rules spread around to prevent Howling Sky Saint Venerable from escaping. The appearance of the rule world indicated that Howling Sky Saint Venerable was desperate. Lin Moyu felt that just a touch of this silver flame would leave him severely injured if not dead. Suddenly, How Saint Venerable's face changed dramatically, and he shouted angrily, "Run!" Lin Moyu didn't think twice and turned to flee. But before he could move, he felt the space around him completely collapse, along with the space law. The power of the Saint Venerable's rules crushed all laws in an unreasonable manner, including the space law. Lin Moyu looked up and saw Howling Sky Saint Venerable's rule world, which had somehow crossed 1,000,000 miles and was now above his head. At the same time, he felt Howling Sky Saint Venerable's killing intent. The Saint Venerable's sharp gaze seemed to want to cut him into pieces. His target is me. Lin Moyu's heart sank. It was clear that Howling Sky Saint Venerable had unleashed his rule world not to fight desperately but to kill him. He hates me so much, but I've never met him. Why does he hate me? This gaze looks familiar. I understand now, it's the future Buddha. It must be the future Buddha. Lin Moyu quickly figured out why. The soul-devouring clan had a peculiar way of communicating. As long as they were willing to consume a large amount of soul, they could communicate, and no sealing method could stop them. Even How Saint Venerable's Void Realm couldn't stop them. It must have been the future Buddha who sensed him and told Howling Sky Saint Venerable about him. In this catastrophe for the soul-devouring clan, he was the instigator, and the hatred was immense. As a member of the soul-devouring clan, Howling Sky Saint Venerable's hatred for him was imaginable. He would rather die than not kill him. Lin Moyu couldn't help but sigh. If he had known, he wouldn't have come. But now, he was already locked on. The rule world, burning with silver flames, was coming at him like a meteor, unavoidable. How Saint Venerable wanted to come and stop it, but it was too late. It seemed he was in a dead end, certain to die. But he couldn't just sit and wait for death. The skeleton hell flashed, and in the moment it appeared, it was smashed to pieces by the rule world. But the skeleton hell completed its mission, marking the target. Then, a severed finger appeared in Lin Moyu's hand, the severed finger of the past Buddha. 1,000 drops of myriad color water and 100,000 units of faith power simultaneously poured into the severed finger. Locking onto Howling Sky Saint Venerable, the severed finger turned to ash. White star level spell, corpse explosion. Boom. In the violent explosion, countless cracks appeared in the deep space. It was the first time Lin Moyu had seen the deep space being blown apart. Countless lights shone through the cracks, a familiar scene. Howling Sky Saint Venerable was blown to pieces. His rule world also paused in the explosion. Lin Moyu felt Howling Sky Saint Venerable's lock on him loosen slightly. With Howling Sky Saint Venerable's death, his rule world became chaotic, constantly expanding, seemingly about to explode at any moment. Lin Moyu seized this moment of looseness, fully activating the space law. At the same time, a faint wave of the time law also fluctuated, accelerating Lin Moyu's time slightly. Boom. The rule world exploded. The explosion of the rule world was equivalent to a Saint Venerable self-destructing, with unimaginable power. The starry sky for billions of miles was blasted into dust, with countless silver flames burning fiercely in the starry sky, turning it into a sea of fire. How Saint Venerable searched within the silver flames but did not find any trace of Lin Moyu. Some other Shore Realm beings and God Venerables were affected by the explosion, forcing Hao Saint Venerable to temporarily abandon the search for Lin Moyu and focus on rescuing people. Other Shore Realm beings and Hao Saint Venerable worked together to save many God Venerables. However, several God Venerables were consumed by the silver flames and burned to death. In war, casualties are inevitable. Even peak God Venerables are helpless in the face of certain accidents. The Sea of Fire burned fiercely, exuding a terrifying aura. This Sea of Fire had become the burial ground for Howling Sky Saint Venerable, a dignified Saint Venerable who ended up in such a state. Hao Saint Venerable's face was extremely grim. He couldn't find Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu had disappeared. Even using the communication methods from the Starry Sky Fish Clan, he received no response. This could only mean two things. Either Lin Moyu was dead, blasted into nothingness, or Lin Moyu was alive but his whereabouts were unknown. Hao Saint Venerable looked at the Sea of Fire, unwilling to believe that Lin Moyu was dead. Someone like Lin Moyu wouldn't die so easily. A golden light shot over from afar, stopping in front of Hao Saint Venerable after a few minutes. The golden light receded, revealing Celestial Saint Venerable. What happened? Celestial Saint Venerable looked at the Sea of Fire, sensing that something was wrong. Hao Saint Venerable said, Howling Sky Saint Venerable self-destructed his rule world, targeting Lin Moyu. Section 2206 23,692,207. Celestial Saint Venerable's expression changed dramatically. Explain in detail. Hao Saint Venerable took out his token, revealing the virtual world within it. In the virtual world, the soul of the future Buddha still existed but was much weaker than before. Hao Saint Venerable said, it should be him who conveyed the message to Howling Sky Saint Venerable. They believe Lin Moyu is the instigator of this incident. So Howling Sky Saint Venerable targeted Lin Moyu and self-destructed his rule world. However, Lin Moyu took action at the last moment, using a spell to kill Howling Sky, but Lin Moyu is currently missing. Celestial Saint Venerable's expression also turned grim upon hearing this. If Lin Moyu were dead, it would be a tremendous loss for the human race. Not even 3 or 4 Howling Sky Saint Venerables could make up for it. Hao Saint Venerable said, I feel that Lin Moyu should not be dead. Someone like him wouldn't die so easily. Celestial Saint Venerable looked at the silver Sea of Fire, seemingly sensing something. Why do I feel the presence of the space law? Hao Saint Venerable said, Lin Moyu's last spell used myriad color water and faith power, with immense power, even creating a small crack in the world barrier. At that moment, Howling Sky's rule world seemed to pause for an instant. Lin Moyu should have found a way to save himself, but the outcome is unknown. Celestial Saint Venerable suddenly thought of something, closed his eyes to sense for a moment, and then showed a look of joy. Lin Moyu is not dead. Hao Saint Venerable looked over in confusion, not understanding why Celestial Saint Venerable was so certain. Celestial Saint Venerable said, Lin Moyu's summons are still present. Hao Saint Venerable suddenly realized, slapping his forehead, why didn't I think of that? As long as the summons are still there, Lin Moyu is alive. Celestial Saint Venerable smiled, you were too concerned, leading to chaos. Hao Saint Venerable smiled bitterly, indeed, concern had led to chaos, and he hadn't thought of this point. Celestial Saint Venerable looked at the silver Sea of Fire. Lin Moyu's spell created a small crack in the world barrier, combined with the self-destruction of Howling Sky's rule world, causing mutual interaction. This might have triggered deep space turbulence, and Lin Moyu could have been caught in it. Space turbulence, Hao Saint Venerable had only heard of it but never truly experienced it. In the records of the human race, the occurrences of space turbulence were very few. Space turbulence was considered one of the most terrifying disasters in the big world. If it occurred in the surface space, it could still be managed. Saint Venerables could use their rules to counter it. At most, it would destroy 1 or 2 star systems. If the space turbulence came from deep space, its power would multiply. The nature of space was such that the deeper it was, the more terrifying it became. Facing deep space turbulence, even Saint Venerables like them would be severely injured if not killed. Fortunately, deep space turbulence was extremely rare and seldom affected surface space. Currently, they had no way to deal with it. If Lin Moyu was caught in space turbulence, they wouldn't know where he would be taken. Space turbulence had no order, no direction, no distance. And most importantly, Lin Moyu had to survive the terrifying shredding force within the space turbulence. For now, they had no solution, but as long as Lin Moyu's summons were still present, it meant Lin Moyu was safe. That was the best news. Hao Saint Venerable and Celestial Saint Venerable led their team back, This lightning war against the three silver clans seemed like a great victory for the human race on the surface. The remaining 2 Saint Venerables of the three silver clan were all killed. 8 other Shore Realm beings died, and the other 2 were severely injured and fled. The God Venerables suffered similarly, with 7 or 8 out of 10 dead. The God Kings fared even worse, with countless deaths and injuries under the onslaught of billions of skeleton generals. After the Lightning War, the three Silver Clans' strength was reduced to less than 1/10. Yet they still occupied vast star regions and countless resources. Once this news spread, they would become a coveted target for all races. Especially the smaller clans, who would seize this opportunity to kick them while they were down. In fact, as the human race left, they had already spread the news about the three Silver Clan. It was easy to imagine what the three Silver Clan would face next. Space turbulence, the self-destruction of a Saint Venerable's rule world, triggered turbulence in the deep space. Space turbulence swept Lin Moyu like a storm, pushing him towards an unknown place. Lin Moyu's entire body shone with purple-gold light, constantly emitting sounds like iron being struck. The shredding force within the space turbulence fell upon him, causing the purple-gold light to tremble continuously. Lin Moyu did his best to stabilize his body, but the space turbulence was too strong, and his efforts were in vain. If not for the strength of the purple-gold body and the billions of undead army sharing the damage, Lin Moyu would have long been dead. No matter how many times he could revive, it would be useless against the continuous shredding force of the space turbulence. Fortunately, the combination of the purple-gold body and damage transfer, thanks to the undead army, managed to keep him alive. After the initial chaos, although he still couldn't control his body, his mind had calmed down. Lin Moyu even took this opportunity to begin comprehending the space law. The space here is chaotic and disordered, giving space a terrifying shredding force. If I can control this shredding force, its destructive power should reach another extreme. If I can adapt to this chaotic and disordered space turbulence, perhaps I can create such chaos and disorder myself. Earlier, I used a bit of the time law, combined with the space law, to accelerate the time flow around me. Outsiders couldn't see it, but in an instant, I had already moved millions of kilometers. Time and space seemed to have a bit of fusion, causing some temporal and spatial disarray, allowing me to avoid the most lethal impact of the explosion. Otherwise, the situation could have been worse. Various thoughts churned in his mind, and Lin Moyu began to adapt to the space turbulence. The Celestial Saint and Hao Saint returned to the Divine City, but they still closely monitored the situation in the three Silver Clans' star region. The news had been spread, but the smaller clans hadn't taken action yet. After all, the three Silver Clan had a formidable reputation. Even with the news from the human race, they needed to consider if it was true. This situation was within expectations, but it wouldn't be long before they discovered that the human race's news was all true. At that time, it would be the end for the three Silver Clan. News had already come that the three Silver Clan had begun to save themselves. Their remaining few strong members had already started to flee with some of their clansmen, seemingly anticipating what would happen next. However, the clansmen who could possibly escape were only a minority. The three Silver Clan was finished, and it was unknown how many years it would take for them to recover. Perhaps they would never recover. The Talisman Saint heard about Lin Moyu's situation and also became serious. Young friend Lin's skeletons have disappeared. But the Death Dragon Knights are still there, which should be Lin's intentional action. It seems he should be fine. The Talisman Saint's Shu family controlled all intelligence sources for the human race, and he knew everything that happened on the front lines. The Celestial Saint said, "I believe young friend Lin will be fine. We just need to wait calmly for his return." But what about the future Buddha's soul? How do you plan to deal with it? His gaze fell on Hao Saint, not expecting such a thing to happen this time. This showed that the future Buddha could not only communicate externally but also sense what was happening outside. The Void Realm could trap him, but it couldn't hide from his perception. Perhaps even the recent discussions they had were known to him. The future Buddha could no longer be kept. Hao Saint took out his token and said in a low voice, "Should we just kill him, or use him for refining? Elder Yan should be able to refine him into a spirit." As he spoke, Hao Saint stared at the Void Realm and noticed that the future Buddha's soul trembled slightly. There was a reaction, proving he could indeed hear the outside world. At this moment, the future Buddha's soul seemed somewhat weak and listless. After hearing the Celestial and Hao Saint's words, the future Buddha suddenly opened his eyes, and his soul power began to surge. Hao Saint snorted coldly, "Want to self-destruct? Dream on." The Void Realm rules rolled forth, immediately suppressing the future Buddha's soul. The Talisman Saint said, "Killing him directly would be too wasteful. Why not erase his intelligence and wait for young friend Lin to return, then give it to him as a gift? Hao Saint said, that's also a good idea, but is erasing his intelligence reliable? The soul-devouring clan has cultivated in the way of souls for many years and has innate talents. It's not easy to erase their intelligence. The talisman saint smiled, I have a way. As he spoke, an ancient talisman appeared in his palm. The ancient talisman wasn't complete, but rather a fragment. Then the talisman saint took out a brush and began to sketch, complimenting the ancient talisman on the spot. He had entered the Tao through talismans and become a saint, being the one who researched ancient talismans most deeply in the human race. He could repair any ancient talisman that wasn't too complex. As he repaired the ancient talisman, he said, using this talisman, we can suppress the soul-devouring clan's innate abilities and make the soul temporarily sleep. You can do whatever you want with it then. As he finished speaking, the ancient talisman had been repaired. The repair wasn't very perfect, and it still seemed to have many missing parts. It didn't matter. What mattered was that it could be used and take effect. The talisman saint said, this talisman should be considered a second-grade ancient talisman, one grade lower than the one in your palm. Hao Saint took the talisman and activated it directly, sending it into the token. In the void realm world within the token, an ancient and simple talisman appeared, landing accurately on the future Buddha's soul. The future Buddha, with unwillingness, lost the brilliance in his soul, and his aura became even more listless. He was now a fish in the net. No matter how much he struggled, he couldn't make waves. Hao Saint mercilessly began to erase his intelligence. Hao Saint didn't go easy, causing the future Buddha to howl in pain. The celestial saint and talisman saint turned a blind eye. They knew Hao Saint was venting his anger. Who told this guy to inform the howling sky saint? Lin Moyu, after regaining his senses, immediately recalled the skeleton generals. The existence of the skeleton generals would affect the human race's subsequent plans, so they had to be recalled. After several days of continuous space turbulence, it gradually weakened, and Lin Moyu finally regained control of his body. He left the deep space, like someone who had been diving for days, gradually surfacing until he returned to the surface. The space distorted and rippled, and Lin Moyu appeared silently in the starry sky. This was an unfamiliar starry sky, without the aura of the human emperor network. Lin Moyu tried to contact the human race but received no response. This meant he was already far from the human race's star region, not knowing where he was. He tried to contact the Death Dragon Knights, but even the connection with the Death Dragon Knights had disappeared. This was something that hadn't happened for many years. He only remembered that when he had just completed his class change, there was an operating distance between him and his summons. If the distance was too far, he couldn't control them or sense them. As his strength increased, the distance limitation disappeared, and he never worried about distance again. By the time he reached God Venerable, even if he was in the Three Silver Clan's star region, he could still clearly sense the Death Dragon Knights in the human race's star region. This also meant that even tens of thousands of light years apart, they could still sense each other. This also made Lin Moyu mistakenly believe that there was no longer any distance limitation between him and his summons. But now, the distance limitation had appeared again. Here, it was impossible to determine direction. No matter which direction he chose, it was hard to say if it was right or wrong. He could choose any direction at will, possibly getting closer to the human race, or possibly getting further away. Looking at the starry sky, light from distant stars shone through, but the light was very thin, indicating he was extremely far from any stars. He remembered that when the space turbulence first occurred, he could still sense the skeleton generals and had recalled them. At that time, the distance wasn't too far, but now. Lost, huh? Lin Moyu sighed to himself. After staying in the cold, dark starry sky for a few seconds, Lin Moyu released a skeleton general, then flew towards the nearest star. Lin Moyu stepped forward in the starry sky, each step covering 150 million kilometers. Although he had suffered from the space turbulence, he hadn't gained nothing. Lin Moyu had a deeper understanding of the space law. Previously, he could only cover 100 million kilometers in one step, but now he could reach 150 million kilometers. In just a few days, he had progressed more than he had in several years. Whether it was a blessing or a curse was sometimes hard to say. The star gradually enlarged in his vision at an extremely slow pace. Lin Moyu didn't know how far he had traveled or how long he had been walking. Time and space seemed to have lost their meaning. Lin Moyu was also experiencing for the first time how vast and broad outer space was, while also appreciating its desolation. Outer space didn't just refer to the world outside the human race's star region. It referred to the world outside almost all races. According to records, it was a desolate place. There were stars, but they were extremely few. In some places, there were starry sky beasts, and in others, there were dangers. Every year, a large number of strong beings from the human race entered outer space. Some returned with greatly improved realms and obtained some powerful treasures. Some returned empty-handed, and others never returned. At one time, Lin Moyu had thought that one day he would also enter outer space to explore. He didn't expect that this accident would bring him to outer space ahead of time.